This program is presented by Community Television. A simulcast can be found on WRFP-LP 101.9 FM.
Welcome to the Chippewa Valley Sustainable Future Festival.
We want to welcome Matt Poplinski and Larry Hoekstra here today. Matt's first job was performing neighborhood adult audits in Minneapolis at the age of 15. His experience led to a company in Boston where he started as an insulation installer and worked his way up to a position in sales. And for the last 12 years, he has completed over 10,000 energy assessment audits and received numerous awards for his attention to detail and customer service. Before moving back to the Midwest, Matt managed and oversaw a field staff of energy assessment auditors. He holds a BPI certifications for both building an analyst and envelope professional. Larry has more than 25 years experience in the HVAC industry and has worked in 3 different arenas within that industry: residential, multifamily, and commercial. He is a certified electronic technician and is familiar with both direct digital controls and pneumatics as they relate to the HVAC industry. He has been with Franklin Energy for more than 2 years as an energy analyst working on existing whole building energy savings techniques. Here, they're going to go forward with their presentation, and at the end of it we should have time for questions unless they welcome them in between. Thank you.
All right, how you guys doing? My name's Matt Poplinski. I'm going to do the single family, the 1 to 3 family stuff, and then Larry's going to continue on with the multifamily stuff. That's me. I'm Matt Poplinski. I'm the regional manager for the Northwest. I cover territory all the way from La Crosse to Superior and almost down to Wisconsin Rapids. I've got a big chunk of the state compared to some of the other guys, but I guess that's good. Today I'm going to go over the Home Performance with Energy Star program. It's the basic, straightforward program. And then I'll go a little bit into the assisted. It's a little bit different with the same sort of offerings that are out there. So home performance. The eligibility for the program, the house needs to be 1 to 3 units in it. If it's above that, it would go to the multifamily program. So we just basically deal with single family homes. It doesn't necessarily need to be owner occupied, so if the landlord has something that's a 3-unit building for this program, that's fine. The customer needs to be part of the participating Wisconsin utilities. There's a multitude of utilities. I would suggest go to the Focus on Energy website and see if everything qualifies when you're looking at it. And then the home must heat with at least 50% with natural gas or electricity. So somebody that heats 100% with propane would unfortunately not be eligible for the thermal measures in the program. Basically, we're looking at 2 marketing streams for getting customers into the program, both with Focus on Energy, trying to do stuff like this and reach out to customers, and then also with what we're calling trade allies, which are the assessors, the insulation contractors, actually bringing customers into the fold. So that's it. The company, the trade ally, brings the customer into the program. The assessment, the home energy assessment, is a market-based price assessment, and that's up to each individual trade ally to what they will charge for the assessment. Some do it for free, some do it for $200 or $300, so you'd want to check with the consultant and see what they'll be doing for that. The home assessment will include a printed up report at the end talking about your energy usage, what you can save by doing the measures that can be done to the program, and stuff that can't be done to the program. So like our program, we mainly deal with thermal stuff like insulation, but if we were recommending you change out a 40-year-old furnace, we're going to put that in the software, and it's going to give you an idea of what the energy savings will be. And then if you want to, pursue that, you can look at the other programs within Focus to get other rebates and stuff. But it wouldn't be done directly through the Home Performance. And then it'll also give you simple payback calculations. It'll say, insulating your attic will save you $200 a year. Your cost on investment return, it's all printed up on there, so you can make heads or tails on all that stuff that the energy assessor's given you. The assessment, the energy assessment, it's got to be done by a Building Performance Institute building analyst. That's a designation, a company out of New York, the Building Performance Institute. They certify energy auditors. So whoever's doing the assessment on the house needs to do a BPI energy audit on the house, which is, you know, looking at the whole house, not just looking at the attic. It's the house as a system. And then they're also going to be doing blower door testing and combustion safety testing, which are really important if you tighten up a house. You don't want those exhaust gases, if they are present, getting trapped in the house. As part of the assessment, you'll get direct install measures at no cost, and those include shower heads, aerators, bathroom aerators, the little flip ones, and up to 12 compact fluorescent lights. That's all at no charge. It's all part of the home assessment. They'll give you the proposal. They can work with another trade ally to do the installation work. And then they can also provide you with other things in the program, or other things but might not be in the program, but would let you know about it. Or if they want to say, you know, I do gutters as well, and you don't have gutters, do you want gutters? They can, you know, give you a quote. It's up to them on whether or not they do that. This is just a little screenshot of EM Home. Basically, that's the software they're using. They build the house in this software, and it's a whole house assessment. So every time you change one thing in the house, the software is kind of keeping up. So you can say that there's different types of insulation, different types of siding, all that sort of stuff that has an impact on the thermal load of the house. And this all prints up all nice in color with graphs and stuff. So it gives you little pie charts with the existing energy usage, you know, about where, you know, your electrical's going, whether it's your refrigerator or if it's your central AC. It's all going to pop up on the little chart there to kind of give you a general idea of where that load is. So these are the items that are eligible through the program. These are all thermal measures. So air sealing a house, tightening the house up, sealing up the leaks and drafts, attic insulation, exterior wall, sill blocks insulation. That's around the perimeter of the basement. You've got that little piece of wood, and that's basically the only thing that's stopping heat transfer. So that's a good place to insulate, as well as the inside of the foundation area, because it's so cold in Wisconsin that you've got a big thermal mass there that can be insulated. So all those would be eligible for the rewards. And the rewards are 33.3, there is a 0.3, 33.3% of the cost up to $1,500. And that reward is an instant reward, so that comes right off the bill. So if a contractor is saying it'll be $3,000, you're going to get $1,000 off of that instantly, so you only have to bring $2,000 to the table. So we're trying to make it easier for homeowners to, you know, get past that first hurdle of having enough money to move forward with it. The other thing that is eligible is if you have a real leaky house or a house that never was really insulated, there's bonus rewards. So if we save 15% of your energy usage by doing the insulation and the air sealing, you'll get an additional $200 straight from Focus on Energy. It's not an instant rebate, but it happens after the job is done. If we do a really good job and we get 25%, now we're looking at $700 that you'll get a check directly from Focus on Energy on that. And the software helps us calculate that, but we also come back after the contractors are there, do a post-inspection, and check the numbers to make sure that everything's all jiving correctly. The assisted program, now this is very similar to what I just spoke about with the home performance program, but this is more of an income-based program. This is to serve customers that are in the 60 to 80% of the state median income based on people that live in the house. You can go to the Focus on Energy website, and it's got the whole, if you have 5 people in the house and you make this amount of money, you'll qualify. This program, it's basically the same thing for eligibility. It's 1 to 3 family, participating Wisconsin utility, 50% of the house with natural gas or electric heat. The big one with this one, though, is it does have to be owner occupied. So somebody does have to, the owner of the building has to live in 1 of the 3 units to take part of this, but everybody would be eligible as long as they're in that income guideline. The assessment on this is free to the homeowner. The assisted program, there's no charge for the technician to come out and do the energy assessment on the house. So there's a whole, on Focus on Energy, there's a whole like list that you have to fill out. You got to verify your income and all that. Mail it in, and we'll let you know whether or not you qualify. But then you can go off of a certain list of contractors to call up and get the assessment done. And there's 3 eligible measures. They don't do like the sill box or the foundation. They're doing ear sealing, attic insulation, and exterior walls. Those are the only sort of 3 areas that are eligible for the reward. Got to get the right word in there. And the reward for this program is a higher amount. It's 75% off up to $2,500. So it's a greater rebate, but there's no bonus rewards on here. There's no additional dollars coming for additional energy savings. And that's it for me. I'll let Larry hop up, and then we can answer anybody's questions if they got later on.
Hi, my name is Larry Hoekstra, and I am located here in Eau Claire. I too, like Nat, have a large area to cover. I cover from La Crosse to Superior, and then also from the Minnesota border to Wisconsin Rapids, and up into Rhinelander, and so we have a large area to cover. I work with all buildings that are 4 units and larger. So we work in buildings that sometimes have 200-300 apartments, some that have 8. And it really doesn't matter what the size of the building is. What we're looking for is to help that owner reduce the overall energy costs of the building. I sometimes think that people think that within Focus, what we're trying to do is deal with energy conservation. In reality, what we're trying to do is help people to be as efficient as they can be with the energy that they're using. Because I'm in this industry, I see so much waste that's going on regardless of where I'm at. For example, here we are at this sustainability festival, and yet I look over here at the it's a pavilion that's over on the building over there, and if you'll notice, the light is on right in the middle of the day, and it's 150 watt high pressure sodium, which means 24 hours a day that light is burning. And so that is just an example of what we look for when we go into a building. When we go to a building to assess it, we do some of the things that Nat's group does, but we are somewhat different in the fact that we look at outside lighting, we look at the overall use of the building as well. So we may look at, like I was in Marshfield yesterday, here it is 70 degrees outside and the boilers are running. Why are those boilers running? We want to find out why are they having 160 degree water being heated in this building when it's so warm that the air conditioners are running. So those are the things that we look at. So we really step back and look more at the operation of the building. Now we too have incentives as well, and I have a number of these things that I have as handouts because I'm quite honestly not as technically astute as what Nat is. And so I have some of those things available at our booth over here that we have today. But when we step back and evaluate, we look at a number of things. We want to look at the electrical usage, yes. We look at the tenant comfort, because frequently when I deal with people, one of the things that the owners are concerned with is the occupancy level of their buildings. And if you cannot make that tenant comfortable, frequently they have high turnover, and that really is very expensive just in the overall operation of the building. So when we look at a building, for example, someone says, oh, my windows are leaking so bad. Well, is it really the window that's leaking, or is the building not sealed and so much air is infiltrating that it really has very little to do with the windows? It has to do with maybe the siding, maybe it has to do with the attic insulation, maybe it has to do with the penetrations through the ceilings, and those are things that we all look for. We look at the efficiency of the boiler. We'll actually do a combustion analysis of the boilers. We look at the combustion analysis of the water heaters. For example, I was in a building not too long ago, 112 units. Each apartment had its own 52-gallon water heater sitting right next to each other. Just by switching over to gas and putting in 1 or 2 heaters to offset those, they were able to save about $23,000 a year just in energy costs. And so those are the things that we look at. We also go in and we do something very similar to what Nat does. We come in and we will replace shower heads, we will replace aerators, and also put in the 10 CFLs in each individual apartment. The reason for us coming in is to evaluate also the common areas of the building. We want to look at how are the laundry facilities being used. We want to look at how often are the elevators being used. We want to look at, are the lights on in the corridors 24/7? Is there any way we can actually put in motion detectors to help stairway lighting so they're not on 24 hours a day? Those are all aspects we're looking at. We also, in our program, are incentivizing a number of things, and these things are somewhat new to us this year. We are incentivizing window replacement. If your building has single pane windows and you're looking to put in thermal panes, we will actually give you an incentive based upon the amount of energy we feel you will save for those windows. And so that, again, is part of the assessment that we'll do, and also the calculations that we will do to give you an idea. If you do replace these, we want to give you an idea of what's going to be the return on your investment. Again, I climb in the attics, I look up in there, I look for a number of things there. I look for indications of ice damming, which means that there's been a lot of heat going into the attic. We need to find out why. We'll look at the refrigerators, we'll look at, sometimes we look at the ranges. Is there anything that can be done there? We have a program right now that if you have a building that has multiple refrigerators, you're going to replace them, we will give $30 to pick up that refrigerator. We'll actually come and pick it up from your place, pay you $30, and if you replace it with an Energy Star refrigerator, we'll give you another $25 beyond that. So it'll be $55 towards a replacement. We also are having a new program which is coming up this year, which is if you have a multifamily building and a boiler situation that has not been cleaned or is going to be needing cleaning, we will give you money towards having someone come in and clean those things out and do a combustion analysis to make sure the burner is working as efficiently as possible. We have two different types of rewards. One is called prescriptive. That is, if you're just going to change out lights, we pay a certain amount for that. If you're going to be having something that is more delicate or requires more in-depth study, then we have what's called a custom. And that deals with what's more intricate things, and I can go into that, but it's kind of boring, I guess. But if we look at those things, that's really about our whole program. Again, we want to work with that owner. We want to try to reduce the energy costs and also the overall cost of the building. We want to try to reduce the amount of water being used. We want to look at how much water is being heated, what is the temperature of that water. All of those things to help that building become as efficient as it possibly can be. How are we doing on time?
4 minutes.
Okay. Any questions before we can? You can ask myself or Matt, either one of us, if you have a question on that. People ask me frequently about LED lights versus CFLs versus all different types of lighting. If you have a question on that, just ask me. I'll certainly be willing to give you an answer. Whether or not it's right is another story. Go ahead.
I have a question. You used an example of replacing individual, I assume, electric water heaters with a couple of central gas water
Correct,
heaters
yes.
per unit. I assume the electrics were individually metered for the different apartments?
Correct.
So how did that switch, and how was that cost
Good.
allocated?
That's a really great question. What we did is we approached the owner with an idea. We found out that every person was averaging about $26 to $28 a month on their water heater usage. And so what we suggested is, because of the energy savings, let's say they were getting charged $400 a month rent, raise the rent to $420, but include the hot water in the rent. And so then he was able to, because of the less amount that gas costs to heat water as compared to electric, he was able to capture that, and then the people really saw no increase in their energy use whatsoever.
But they then lose their incentive to use less hot water too. So.
Correct. But, you know, part of what we did then in that entire building is we did go through and put the new shower heads and the aerators on to reduce the overall cost. And we estimated 200,000 gallons less water used, and so, you know, theoretically, it kind of worked out. You had a question as well?
You said you do multi-family homes, but do you also do like group homes and shelters and?
It depends, and that's a good question as well. It depends on who owns it. If the hospital owns like let's say cancer, like a Ronald McDonald House or something like that, they may qualify dependent upon who owns it. And when I say may qualify, they may qualify under my program. If the hospital owns it, they may qualify under another program. But like a group home, yes. If anything is considered multifamily, we will at least look at the use of the building, and then we will work with that owner to see which program they will qualify for. Go ahead.
I got a question for Nat. When you're talking about the bonus program, you showed a formula showing saved energy as a ratio to the projected pre-energy use, I assume, from the modeling?
Yep.
How did you determine the saved energy? Was that also modeled, or were you looking at pre and post consumption, or?
It's mainly done in the software and how the house is modeled, but then actual inputs like blower door numbers and that sort of stuff will affect it. So it's mainly just off through the software with sort of parameters of what's going to typically save what. But then, like I said, there is actual numbers, so it's that usage and that blower door number do affect it and stuff.
Well, at anywhere in the software is the actual consumption included in it, or is it all based on modeling and test results?
It can do either or. It can model the house just as if you didn't have your energy bill or know how much energy you're using. By all your inputs on how you build the house in the software, it'll give a general estimated energy usage for that home. If you do have your usage, they can actually put in 5 years worth of usage to get an average in there, and it can work.
How does the software make use of that?
Then it'll take a look at the BTU saves by doing the insulation, or take a look at the airflow numbers pre and post, and then give a savings based off of that.
So you're saying if you do have energy use, then your numerator there is based on
actual
but
yeah.
you're making that as a ratio as what the model was.
You can look at, they can compare each other. But typically it's just going to, like if you were doing actual, it's going to look at your savings. It's all going to be an estimated savings based on the measures that were put in. There's no way, besides the blow.
Okay, so you're not collecting post consumption.
No.
You said it was further down the line.
Yeah, it's just estimating the savings based on that. The only one that doesn't really do the estimating on is the blower door, because we can quantify the numbers on that.
Okay, I guess I'm so a little confused because we're talking there for the numerator. You're saying you can use actual consumption figures, then calculated savings dependent on air leakage reduction and added insulation, things like that. Does the denominator then? But the denominator stays at just total model consumption, or?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not exactly sure how all the programming is done with it, but it's mainly the software that's handling that bit. I don't have to do energy savings modeling anymore. It's all computerized.
Okay.
Well, I guess that's it for us.
One quick question: is that software available to people off the internet, or somebody?
It can be leased. I don't think it's a free software.
Yeah, it's proprietary. I don't think you can just get that.
This program was recorded and presented by Chippewa Valley Community Television. Chippewa Valley Community Television is made possible by continuing community support. If you'd like to volunteer or make a donation, you can contact us by calling 715-839-5067 or on the web at www.cvctv.org.